Probably just going to stare at you.
And they're hearing every word you're saying.
Good, because
it's real.
That's what it is. I heard the music.
Listen, you're in for it. Tara is something else. Tara is, you know how I said to you guys, I want, or I watch something like there are certain people, and there ain't that many, that I religiously look at every single day because they just bring me joy. Right. Like I'm going to laugh or I'm going to smile. And every single one of her stories on Instagram are like priceless. Yeah. I don't know. Like, do you have any for me? Are you working on getting me some? You have some for me? This is a little like, what is your, if, in case after you watch this, if you want, I will have her tell you what her little Instagram thing is. So you can follow her and because she literally has a farm. Okay. So Tracy, you got it for me?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, cool. Okay. All right, let's go.
Okay. This is Sven.
There's no noise? There's no sound?
Do you have noise? I don't know. It depends how she screen recorded these for us.
Yeah, so when you screen record, it doesn't record sound. But this is Sven. This is my almost 2-year-old donkey. He's my best friend.
He's the best. Now, donkeys protect everything, correct?
Correct. And he is an uncut donkey, so he is very protective of the farm. He is only afraid of snakes right now. He does pass the snakes off to the barn cat. So he's working on that, but he is my buddy.
I love that donkey.
Very, very much.
I love him very, very much.
He's very sweet.
He's so like, sweet. Narma's the one that told me that, like, what is that, Tal?
Oh, I brought you something.
Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me?
I totally forgot I brought this for you.
Holy crap.
I brought those for you.
Are those from the farm?
No, not yet, but soon I'll have flowers. No, these are from a special florist that I wanted to put those together for you. I hope you love them.
I do.
They're beautiful.
Aren't they so beautiful?
What?
Okay, Talia's going to take them back for you. But
they smell amazing.
Aren't they
Thank you, Tal.
Thank you, Talia.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh. Holy moly.
Yeah, those are really pretty. I wanted to surprise you with those. Yeah.
Okay, that probably comes from the place that you hate working at.
No, close by.
No, I'm saying you probably earned those from the place that you hate working at.
Yeah, so I'll take that money and I turn it into good every time.
That's another story. But let's keep going to the farm. Oh my gosh, that was so sweet. I love those. Holy crap. Okay, so this is your daughter.
Is Ruby.
And
driving our rooster. That's our head rooster, Chicken Joe. Yes, he is the leader of the pack. He began with 11 wives. Okay, so this is Ruby and Chase. This is her horse. This is just, some of the antics that go
just
on
bareback,
the farm.
just a bareback girl.
Bareback.
Yep.
That's
and
good,
working
man.
on no hands. Okay, now we have the Three Stooges out in the field. So what's happening here, this is a roll competition. So one starts, okay, two. Now Sven is going to get jealous, and he's going to, tell them, I know how to do this better than you guys. Watch this. And so he'll lay down and do the same thing. And it's just fun. Normally you can hear me
talking to them.
Narrating.
I know, and it's usually stinking funny. That's why it's like, there's no sound.
Okay, this is Galatia. I have two pigs, Galatia and Ephesia. I do plan to have an entire New Testament church of pigs, and she loves her belly rubbed. Corinth will be the first husband.
Oh my gosh.
Because we all know the Corinthians were
That's true.
into what they were into.
Yes, they were.
So the first male will be Corinth, and we'll go on from
Oh
there.
my gosh, that is the best.
That's the farm.
That's the farm.
I'm just saying, every day there's something new. And then your kids do some really great things too.
Yeah, well, Drew is a dancer. Drew has rhythm, and he is hysterical. And
Yeah, he's a funny kid.
Ruby is the sweetest.
She is, man.
She just made cookies for all our neighbors and invited them to Christmas Eve. She put in the Christmas Eve.
I saw that.
Yeah,
I think I hearted that.
And that's her. That's all her. It's not me like, you should do something out of your heart. That's Ruby, because I'm not doing that. I'm not baking. 7 neighbors in our little road, and she wanted to do 5 cookies per neighbor, 35 cookies. So she did that with her stepdad, Papa.
Yeah, and he's a cook. Man.
My stepdad, not her stepdad.
He I don't know if he bakes, but I'm telling you, that
He
man
does it all.
cooks like
does it
there's
all.
nobody's
Yeah.
business.
Yeah,
Holy moly.
he's great.
Before we get into this, Tracy, you want to do the thing go through the thing really fast?
I do.
And then we got to give her Instagram handle. So
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. So if you guys are on Facebook, say hello. It's very quiet in the chat, so let me know where you're watching from. Also, you can share this post to your page, and then, again, leave a comment. Just leave a comment. And then head over to Rumble. And whoever was our 667th person that liked our page, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I knew somebody would do that for me. And, of course, sign up for, notifications and all that kind of stuff on Facebook, because I know you guys are on there every once in a while scrolling around. So you'll get anything that new and exciting coming on with the Hope Hotline. And if you are on Rumble, hey to everybody in the chat. We've got some people saying, hi, Tara. We got Sharon's watching, and Sarah, and Order in the Court. She's here. So they're all letting us know. Oh, Natalie's here too. So, hey, guys, let us know that you're watching. Just drop your little message in there. And then if you're on YouTube, head over to Rumble, because that's the place to be. And I don't know if anybody's on Black Robe, but if you're over there, again, we got a whole live chat going. So just join us. Later on, this will be available for you in the audio podcast. We need you guys to send your questions in. So Christmas is ending. Our last podcast is on Friday. Christmas is literally right around the corner. We're going to take a couple weeks off, and then we need you guys to send your questions in. So when we come back, we can come back strong with some great questions. If you're on Instagram, this is where you're going to follow us, the Hope Hotline, and that's what our page kind of looks like. So check that out. Or on TikTok, you can come and find some of the questions. Some of them are just little clips of them, and some of them the actual full question, but you can follow us there. Make sure you repost and like and do all the things you can do on TikTok for us. We have our merch available today, and Tara, being the guest speaker, got a mug. So she got her own personal Hope Hotline mug. Maybe she needs a spoon instead. And then we've got the Christmas around the world, guys. It is literally around the corner. So I need you guys to be ready, and be ready to invite, be ready to check out who you're going to send your cookies to. Maybe you can take a little note from Ruby. She made all these cute little cookies and made sure she put the invites in there too for people in her neighborhood. So you never know what you do. Just sometimes people are literally praying, God, give me a sign, like they're desperate right now.
Invite everybody you know.
Exactly. And just who cares if they say no? I mean, if you're a saleswoman or man, if you're watching and you're not doing this stuff, like what a waste of talent, because you don't even care about no's. Like you're so used to them and it's one more closer to a yes. So get out there, invite people. We are working so hard to make sure this is amazing. And, it's just going to be so awesome because so much prayer has been dumped into this, so much like time and talent. It's just, we are so excited about this program. And we can't wait for you guys to see it, all of our OGs that show up every Sunday. But yeah, bring a friend. Make sure you register too. There's a link online. You just go to the same place you would go for anything else. All of our stuff, foundationchurchfl.com, and then click on the events and it's right there. Sign everybody up. Sign people up and be like, hey, I signed you up. Come on, come meet us. And then it'll be such a great time. And that is all.
It's time to rock and roll. Okay, so what's your Instagram handle?
Okay, so it's TL Romana. Romana. That's it.
Say it again.
TL Romana.
Okay.
Yeah, like
I'm telling you,
Romana.
you won't be disappointed. It's awesome.
Fun. Yeah, just don't send me any weird like direct messages because then I'll probably block you.
Yeah. Just watch. She doesn't need any insight. She doesn't need you to tell her how she should do her animals.
Well, that's fun.
Because some people, they start watching, they're like, you're doing that wrong. No,
Yeah.
we don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Just watch, laugh, enjoy. Okay, so I had you on here
Right.
because a lot of people, how long have you been saved?
August of 2021.
Okay, so very short period of time been
Yeah.
saved. But the amount of things that you've experienced since you got saved are astronomical. And a lot of times people always feel like they're not doing anything. Well, they're not doing anything because you choose not to do anything. And she's going to be...
True.
and a lot of people don't realize that they're not doing anything because they're not doing it. They believe like this mystical something is going to catapult them.
Yeah,
it doesn't work like that.
spiritual encounter.
It doesn't work like that.
Right. No.
So, what's interesting is your colorful background, because you have a colorful background like I did.
Yeah.
Yours is different than mine, but not by much. But then we're going to talk about that because a lot of times too, people have this perception of, well, it was easy for you because.
True.
And it's like, no, you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. So, we don't glorify in the sin, we glorify in the testimony. So what I wanted her to do is just share like what life was like. Okay, so here's the thing. You're from New York,
Correct.
which you could never tell from her accent, but because she definitely doesn't sound like a farm girl at all. And it does. She's like, it's weird Christmases are weird down here because
Right.
it's not cold.
Yeah. I can't believe it's a week away.
Yeah, it
I
goes.
just can't get used to it.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like Austria, in Australia, South Africa, everything there. Like South Africa is cold right now.
Yeah.
Or no, their summer is right now. Actually, Australia and South Africa, their summer is currently right now. They flip flop with us.
Right.
Can you imagine? Like at least we have a chance of it getting cold. Christmas has always
We can
been hot.
pretend like
Yeah,
it's cold
a little bit.
in the morning.
Yeah, they are in the middle of their summer, or they're going into their summer. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't like that at all. But you're from New York, and here's the deal. She experienced COVID in New York, and you never fell for. But she wasn't saved.
No.
Not saved. You didn't even fall for the hype, the lie. And how is that?
So we kind of have to go back to 2019.
Yeah.
In 2019, my daughter was in a half-day preschool program. We had no intention of ever sending her to school because of our vaccine choices.
Which is crazy.
Right.
But there's a lot of people. You're
There's
conservative,
a whole
though.
Underground.
But you're conservative.
Correct.
Always been conservative. In New York.
Not truly. Like I thought I was conservative.
So you were considered like a moderate?
I mean, I don't think I even understood what it meant to be conservative.
You just had conservative values, like the no vaccine and things like that?
Yes. I just
Because
didn't-
that's like very.
I just learned early on through my dog having a vaccine injury. It was like wild that there was a problem.
Yeah.
Right. And so we made choices for our family, but you didn't tell people because you were the black sheep.
Oh,
you were the
yeah.
so my immediate family knew, and they didn't necessarily. My parents did. My parents were like 100% good, right? We had some close family members that were like, whatever you want to do, cool, we don't care. But then we had a lot of people in our lives that we could not discuss it with.
Because they thought you were dangerous.
Because they thought, correct, we were the lepers. So in 2019, the religious exemption was taken away from New York State. So anybody who was in school during that time period was kicked out of school. Okay? It was the end of the year.
moly.
That means that everyone was exposed because it came out in the news, the religious exemption. There were protests, this thing.
Yeah.
There were protests and people, they were talking about it. So people knew. So friends, family members, people that we were very close with then knew, even though we were just going to casually
pull
away. Now everybody knew.
Is the reason you're not having your kids go is because they're
Right.
not
and
vaccinated.
they're asking, and we weren't going to lie about it,
Right.
And we were angry. We were so angry that everything was being exposed. So it started there. So we lost basically 99.9% of the people that we were close with then.
Holy moly.
And we dealt with a really hard time, just feeling unsafe, feeling like there were homeschool groups that were created, and we were doing co-ops and all kinds of things. Ruby was only going into kindergarten. So that's how it started. So when COVID hit, we were already guns blazing. Me, Big Drew, and my parents. We were all...
Because you all knew it was a lie.
We all knew. Yeah. And it was chaos. So to go to the grocery store, you'd have to go first thing... Okay, it's March. It's March in New York, so it's freezing. So you'd have to bundle up, right? Pick
Yeah.
a spouse. Hopefully you have a spouse or someone that can help you because it's going to take a minimum of 3 hours. You're going to stand in a line outside of the grocery store.
What? Are you kidding me?
More than 6 feet apart. There was usually security around the store. So I used to
my
shop at
gosh.
Trader Joe's. So I would go to Trader Joe's. Now, please understand that I loved this. I was like, bring it, So it was bad. So we'd go, you'd wait in line, maybe 20 to 30 people in the store, especially Trader Joe's. They were like extra scared. They would want you in masks, standing at least 6 feet apart outside. The line would be wrapped around the building, and they would let you in. So I wouldn't wear one, and you would not be able to get a cart at the door until...
Can you? She was in New York.
Yeah,
and
this is
never
real.
How far outside of the city were you?
50 minutes, an hour, maybe. With traffic, probably a little over an hour. But
So,
really, on a Sunday morning, you can get to New York City in 50 minutes.
Oh yeah, that's how DC was
Yeah.
on weekend. But okay, so
Parks are closed too. You can't bring your kid to the park. Chained, locked. You will not let your kid play outside.
so
with
you
other
can't get a
kids.
cart without a mask.
No. Yeah.
You can't go anywhere without a mask.
No. So we did. But we did. There were ways. You'd have to deal with the manager of the store often. They would call the police on you. Depending on the cop and the day would depend on how your day went. So, if I had time, I would go because I would be like, I'm ready. It was fun.
Oh my gosh,
Sometimes Drew would go just we never could bring the kids ever.
because of the cussing.
The cussing, I've been spit at, fights. Just completely out of control. People, and I was already ready because I had already been treated like a leper because I
You
didn't
wouldn't
vaccinate
vaccinate.
my kids.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my gosh.
so that's really how it
Okay,
went.
so
So it was ugly.
here's the thing. Tracy, you gave us footage of how you would go.
Yes.
Okay, so she's not saved. This is how she went to the bar
Right. Just
Or
to
the club.
To mock them.
or to the grocery store.
Yes.
This is her mask.
Yeah. Here's the mask that I would wear.
And it wasn't Christmas.
Yeah. So This one would get a lot
There's
of
some
love.
music, but I don't want to get kicked off. So it's
Okay,
Oh.
good, yeah. There was music. My friend remixed this.
I can play it for a
particular
second.
Video, but you'll see. Yeah, this is back in the day.
Look, you're gonna see mess.
Yeah, here's
see
every-
that guy,
like,
but
they're
that
not
guy's
even
got it below his nose.
Of course.
So they either loved the Santa because the whole mouth is open. It's hard to really see. I should have brought it. I should have wore it.
Oh my gosh, that is dang funny.
I'll post a picture on my Instagram.
So would you put that on to go to the grocery store?
If I had to like run in quick and I didn't want to deal with them, but was just going to mock them, I'd put that on.
And they let you in.
Sometimes, and sometimes it was they'd follow you. They'd threaten you. But they never could really do anything. It's all talk. It's all fear.
Oh, yeah, to
Even
like
when
a-
they'd call the police, there was nothing that they could really do. You know, it was a lie. It was a lie.
Yeah, from the depths, and so many people. What's
Right.
so crazy is you're not saved. You don't have the Holy Spirit, but you were smart enough to smell it
Yeah.
and to know it,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah. I just don't think my motive was obviously like right then, you know?
Right. Well, you didn't know, but you were. But
But
in
we knew
some
that-
ways, you're not spiritually righteous, but you were righteously fighting
Yeah.
for
And people,
your kids and people that were not smart enough to know this is not right.
yeah. And people were getting sick and all of that. And it was happening. But when you know what the system is doing,
Oh yeah.
then you can, I'm not afraid. I wasn't afraid to get sick or to make someone else sick. I knew that they were killing people in the hospitals.
Oh,
We
yeah.
knew early on about remdesivir, and nobody would listen.
Nobody, because that's what Tom and I used to say. Like I remember we went and saw somebody in the hospital, and this is when it first came out. I remember we were on our way to the hospital, and I remember saying to Tom, because he told me what they had this person on.
Yeah.
And I was like, Tom, because they went from being healthy as a horse,
Right.
putting them on that medication, and then their organs shutting down. I said to him, I was like, because then we knew it was a Fauci drug. By then, because it came
Right.
out that it was his, because everybody was like touting him as the science, and this is good to take because it's comes from him. And
Yeah.
so I said to we knew he was evil. So I said to Tom, I remember saying to him, I'm like, do you think that medication is what's killing people? And he's like, I would not be surprised.
Right.
And then lo and behold,
Right.
it
Come to
comes
find out.
out like,
And still no one cares.
shortly thereafter, not shortly thereafter, comes out quite a long time after that.
Yeah.
That it was not good. But it was over a year. But literally when remdesivir, because that's when they were still allowing
That was the
to
protocol,
have, you could take the horse pill, which I won't say or it'll kick us off, or you could take remdesivir.
Oh, well, you didn't have that option in New York.
Well, you did for a while here, and that's when they were that's how soon it
Right.
started out. And I was like, something ain't right.
We were getting all of that for friends that were sick, and it was all, I mean, all underground.
Oh, yeah.
It literally felt like Harriet Tubman, like Underground Railroad. I mean, just ridiculous. And we were continuing to have our homeschool meetups too, and people would call the cops because it would be so many cars at some. We got
So more than, I think it was more than 3 is all you could have, or
Oh
something
yeah,
like that.
we had 25 kids in a house because we lost use of the building that we were meeting at, that we were paying for. So we were like, forget it. We're not going to have our kids not
Go to school.
hanging out. Like, and what were they really doing? They were playing like, games together.
And kids didn't even get sick then.
no,
It's just crazy.
it was crazy. It was crazy. And it was hard for the kids, they knew
Something was going on.
They knew it was going on. Why can't we go to the grocery store? Why can't we go to the park? Why are we, and
yeah.
so we had to talk about it. We talked about Governor Cuomo a lot. And my kids, my brother is a police officer in New York, and they would tell him like, Uncle Johnny, you got to arrest Governor Cuomo.
Oh my gosh. It's amazing though. God vindicates.
Oh, yes.
God vindicates. I was just thinking about something today that I found out about, and righteously, these people have been done wrong. And I thought to myself, like the people that have done when the people, the evil that's been done to these people are they're believers, and when God is finished with them, they'll never wish they missed with God's chosen.
It's true.
And so whatever's being done to them, God will work it for his good. And how many souls will be won through the process.
Right.
But the persons that did this, I woe to them. The Lord literally said to me, I will vindicate.
Right.
Vengeance is mine.
Right.
And I'm
we
like,
have to
thank
know
you,
and trust
Jesus.
that for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's crazy.
I'm glad I
Walking
know
through
now.
that, yeah. But you look at Cuomo is a perfect example of that. Everybody thought he was untouchable. He was the king.
Yes.
Like everybody
Yeah.
were
Very
praising
Herod-like,
him.
for sure. Yeah. Bless his
But-
heart.
Bless his heart.
No, really. Pray for
Okay,
him.
so you come.
so that happens.
COVID happens.
Yeah.
Now you end up moving to Florida. Why did you
Right.
move to Florida?
Okay, so my dad lived down here for, I don't know, now 15 years.
Okay.
So we'd visit every year. And, there's my house.
Oh,
so
yeah.
pretty.
Can
So-
she show that?
Yeah.
I'll wait. You tell me when.
Oh,
you,
we're gonna wait. Yeah,
whenever
we'll
you
wait
want to share
show it, 'cause
something, tell me what
there's
pictures.
Great story with this.
So we come down here to visit our normal visit in February of 2021. We're exhausted. We have been battling now since 2019, and it's tiring.
Oh, yeah.
And we're isolated now too because we have 0 friends left. 0. Maybe a couple, but not many.
And family leaves you too. So
They do a lot of. We lost some family members, relationships, and it's heartbreaking.
Oh yeah.
So we come down here, and my dad says, "Listen, you guys should move down here. You can move into my house. I got this big house, and you can start fresh."
Did it feel like? Did it when you moved from New York to Florida? What did that feel like? Because
Horrible.
we were free here.
Oh well, yeah, that part. So even coming to visit, it was so refreshing. Me and Drew it's all we talked about when we would go to the Publix or that. It was so normal. It was like we flew to another country or something,
yeah.
or another world.
We were like a refuge
Right.
for a lot of people.
Right. So Drew was like, "We're in."
I'm ready to move now.
And I said, "You're crazy. We have horses, we have jobs. Like, no, I'm not doing that. I was comfortable. I didn't want it." And Drew said, "You're going to have to make a choice. Like, I'm not doing this anymore."
Yeah, I'm moving.
He didn't want to be in that rat race anymore. And he did not. He was relentless about it. And at that time in our relationship, I will tell you, if I said no, it was no. And that was, I feel like, one
You
of
ran
the
the house.
major times he was like, no, it's over. We're leaving. And he said, "I'm going to go there in June. I'm going to go live with your dad. I'm going to find a job. And then I'm coming back for you." And we just did it. We relocated all of our animals, our horses, to Pennsylvania in the meantime, from April to August, because if Drew was going to come to Florida and I didn't have his help with the animals, it would be near impossible with the little kids. So, which I was like, I'll never see them again. It's over, He came down here. He got a job. One of the first interviews he went on, he did exactly what he said he was going to do. Came back to New York in August, got me and the kids, U-Haul truck, packed us up, moved us to Florida. And it was a whirlwind. It was an absolute whirlwind.
So the horses, all the animals are in Pennsylvania.
And then so he had found a place for us to bring the horses once he was here too. So they came down August 15th. So for 15 days, I lived here with no horses, and it was the worst 15 days of my life. Even in New York, when I didn't have my horses, I was a horse trainer. So we went to the farm that I had worked at. I had other horses I was working at. My daughter was still riding. I still had that.
Yeah.
Once we moved here, it was cut. Then I had nothing, and I didn't have my mom.
Oh, I remember this.
Yeah. And I was a mess. That was my ultimate rock bottom. And you would think I had hit other rock bottoms before. This was it. It was over. I had no peace. I couldn't sleep. Raging anxiety, every invasive thought, drinking, drugging, everything I could do to make it stop. And it would not stop. And so I met 3 separate people who were like, "You should really come to church. Like, you should try church," because my kids did classical conversations in New York.
Oh yeah, CCD.
So, right.
Not CCD. CC.
So that was my one thing I could find down here that I knew they'd have some structure right away and some friends. And who was the director of classical conversations? Holly Vance. So we were emailing before I moved down here.
God said,
So
Set
good.
you
That's
up.
my bestie.
Your steps or
my girl.
order. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a great person. man.
So I moved down here and she's like, oh, you know, you're going to come to church? I'm like, I don't do church. You know, you could be a Christian in New York and not go to church. That was allowed. You know,
I mean, it's lots of people still live by that philosophy down here.
Right.
I mean, how safe it is, I do not know. I just
Right.
read some good teaching, or I just read some good stuff in the Word about this, and it was like,
it's scary because I fully thought I was going to heaven because I believed that Jesus was born, that he was the Savior.
yep,
I believed in him. So I was like,
of course I'm going to heaven.
of course I'm effing going to heaven.
Yeah, yeah,
Gosh.
I totally
Come
get that.
to find out, wrong.
So okay, so how did Holly get you to come to church?
Holly said it, and 2 other people that came to your church that I had met through CC said it. And they didn't really know Holly. One did. One knew her. And the other one, I guess she knew her too. They all were, she was the director of the program. So, but I knew they hadn't like talked about it. It
Yeah.
just felt, I knew.
But
that
you weren't set up.
I knew
it
I
was
wasn't
all
set up.
organic.
I knew
how
it was
done.
organic. Yeah, I could feel that. And so,
Yeah.
you know, at that time I was like, the stars are aligning for me. Oh my goodness. So I say to Drew, I can't take this anymore. I'm going to go check out this church. I don't want you and the kids to come because it might be a cult. And I'm going to go.
We get called that.
Yeah, I was concerned. And so
Tracy's laughing over
I
there.
went in the old building. I walk in. The first person I meet is Vanessa.
Tomas?
Yeah. Big smile. She looks like a piece of heaven.
Now that wasn't in this building.
No.
It was in the old building.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh man.
It was August still. I was only here for like 2 or 3 weeks tops. And so I was like, does nobody wear a mask here? And she's like, it was literally it was like heaven. She's like, no, silly goose. You know, something like that. So she's so soft and like,
oh yeah.
so I
She's
could have cried in that moment.
My lounge singer.
And
like
so
everything
I
is very
sat-
soft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I sat, worship. I was beyond overwhelmed by the peace of God, the love of God. And in that moment, I thought I lost my mind because
Because God
I
was all
heard
over
God
you.
say, if you give your life to me, if you surrender, I'll give you everything you want. I'll give you your family. I'll give you everything you want. And I was like, all right, when I leave here, I will go check into a mental institution. This is it. This is clearly I've lost it. And that wasn't it. You know, I stayed for the service. I gave my life to the Lord. I ran home. I told Drew. And
What did Drew say?
Drew was not as shocked as I thought he was going to be.
Really?
Really, he wasn't. He was like, okay, I wanted him and the kids to come, and he was into it. He was like, yeah, let's go. You know, his dad was an altar boy, so he had a good,
Religious experience.
he did,
Yeah. Okay.
which is great. And then I was, you know, telling him about it, and I cracked my afternoon PBR, and
For those
Oh.
you don't know what PBR is, Pabst Blue Ribbon
Yes.
beer.
right, you know, I'm telling him, I go to drink this, and it's disgusting. I can't drink it. And in that moment, I knew, oh no,
I can't do this.
I can't. It's over. And I knew what
It's over.
I knew what happened. I knew God had
Change your heart.
because I know what He said to me, and I know what I felt in that moment in the church, and I panicked. I was like, oh, everything's different. And so Drew was like, "Are you good?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And so I kind of kept it hidden that week. I didn't, you know, I didn't have my evening beer, afternoon beer, and I didn't partake in the things that I was partaking. I didn't need any of my coping mechanisms. All I wanted was the Bible. I got a Bible, and I was reading it. I started in Matthew, and then Drew came to church. And
The following week?
The following week.
Okay.
Drew and the kids came. The kids loved it. We had a hard time dropping them off because in New York, the only people that we ever let be with our kids was my mom and his mom.
Oh yeah, because it's
couldn't trust
scary, man.
anybody,
Yeah.
But one of the teachers, she was great.
Oh yeah, Jen was.
Yeah, it was Jen.
So she's
And Jerry.
yeah, they're great, man.
Yeah. So that was the end of it. Drew got radically changed, saved and delivered that day. Same
same
thing.
day,
The
the
same
first Sunday
time
he
he came.
came.
That was it. We were in, and we just said we're going to do whatever they tell us to do because we had peace. We had peace immediately, and we had something that we had never ever felt before, and we just knew we were
This
just
was
going to
it.
do it.
Now, did everyone around you notice that there was a change?
Yep.
Like your family?
Yep, they did, and it was weird.
Did they think you were crazy?
No, my mom didn't. My mom was happy. My mom was,
Was your mom? Your mom wasn't saved though, right?
not then, no. But she then wanted what I had because I had the peace, and she didn't have me, so she didn't have peace. So she wanted what I had.
Yeah.
was
Now,
Jesus.
so for me, okay, this is where people like think that they're losing everything. You're not losing anything. You're gaining it, and then your whole family
That
gains.
is what people think.
They do.
You have to stop everything in your life.
But what you gain exponentially far above all you could imagine.
Right.
Like it exceeds all expectation
Well, absolutely. Nothing else was.
because you don't lose anything.
Right.
Like the things that you think you're going to lose, the feelings or the desires, you're like,
Yeah.
I don't want to lose those things. But the feelings and the desires that change and you gain, like
Yeah.
don't compare to the
no,
other
nothing
crap.
fills that gap.
Nothing. So, okay. So because you get saved, you get radically saved. Your mom's still up in New York.
Yep. Planning on moving down here in a year.
And did it take her a year to get down here?
It took just 1 year.
Okay. So when she gets down here, so now listen, so for people to have hope, because you got saved, how many of your family members are now saved?
My mom, so me, my husband, my children, my mom, my stepdad, my brother, my sister-in-law, their children. Yeah.
So your immediate
my
family
entire immediate family. My father.
are all saved now.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it's like your immediate and then your personal immediate
Right.
are all now saved.
Yes.
Which people are praying that their family would be saved all the time.
And
It happens. What are you going after though? You were all in.
all in.
Are you all in? That's
in.
the question. Are you all in? You have to like look. And one of the reasons why I wanted her to come on is because people always, we're not to compare ourselves among ourselves. But the thing is we are to look at people and say, how do I get what they got? How do I attain that? And in order to attain it, you sometimes have to follow the same steps. Wise people look at what people have done. Like if you like want to be a great businessman, a godly businessman, then you go and you seek counsel from a godly businessman that's successful.
Right.
If you want to be radically changed in your walk with God and you want your whole family saved, then follow somebody that's done it.
Yeah.
Like so the first week you get saved, everything's gone.
Oh, yeah.
And the word is what you're taking in.
Correct.
Which is not normally what people do. They're still cracking open and they do feel what you feel. This probably is not what I should be doing. I mean, Tom talks about with porn. And his first was his mouth, then it was the porn. Like God was, as he got rid of each thing.
Yes.
God was like, it didn't happen all of it overnight because he didn't understand. But as he got rid of one thing, God said, okay, now this is it. And
Yeah.
it's decisions.
It felt fearful to me to even like take part. So 6 months later, I came home to visit. I went up to New York.
Yeah.
My friend was getting married, and I was like, "All right, I'm gonna show them I'm so different. They're gonna be so blown." And I was like eaten alive because I only had 6 months of word underneath me,
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
ready.
That's why novices should never be put in a position of authority, right? But
Thankfully, I had the body of Christ. I had some good, solid Christians that had my back. And when I, was struggling, they prayed for me. And you know what they didn't do? They never felt sorry for me. They didn't.
there's nothing good that comes from that.
No, they were never sympathetic.
Yeah.
They were hard. And they said the truth. And sometimes it hurt. But I
Yeah.
did what they said. And it was the word.
Yeah.
They would show it to me in scripture. And so I would do it. And I would kick and scream about it a little bit sometimes.
Everybody that I know that's a strong believer or that is accomplishing things for the Lord and that don't back down and don't cave to things, they are able to take strong correction without offense, without like leaving
Yeah.
and crying about it
Yeah.
and then maybe coming back or maybe not
Right.
because of offense or whatever. But everybody that I know that's able to handle strong correction, I mean, personally, their spiritual walks are thriving, and even financially, their personal lives are usually thriving as well, or it's on the cusp of that. But it comes from being able to hear the tough stuff without falling apart.
Right.
When somebody tells you, because the only reason people are telling you the truth about something is so that it takes you to the next level.
To set you free.
Yeah. So you got to get to the next level in your walk with God.
If you don't want to be dealing with what you're dealing with, then it might be hard to hear, but it can change.
Yeah. Well, the thing is change always brings something good and new. You're like being pruned, and the Lord talks so much about pruning, how it doesn't feel good.
No,
but with the new growth, the new growth is so like vital.
It is.
That otherwise all the nourishment that you're supposed to be getting goes to the dead weight.
Right.
And who wants dead weight?
No, that's exhausting.
Yeah.
That is exhausting. And you got to know who you are in Christ. You have to know what he did for you and how much he loves you.
Your value.
Right. And then you'll understand.
Oh yeah. What you can do through him.
Right. But you won't understand if you don't immerse yourself in the word.
100%. I agree with you. So let's do this. So because you get saved, your family gets saved.
Yes.
The next thing that you've talked about is like the radical things that have taken place in your life because of that one decision to come to church because you were invited to church from a few people.
Yeah.
That one decision has radically changed your life. Your families, like all your sibling, your parents, your children, your spouse, they're all saved from you just saying, I'm going to go to church one Sunday. Okay, financially, like you have story after story after story. From the $100,000 taken off the mortgage of your house for you have no idea why.
Yeah, my brother thought was a scam.
Yeah.
I'm like, how was that a scam?
When it happened to me and Tom, you're the only other person I've ever known that like gets $100,000 taken off their house and it wasn't Obamacare.
Right.
Like Obama, whatever his thingy, like he was doing that thing where you can negotiate on your house or something like that. Mine had nothing to do with any of that. Like mine an attorney just reached out to us and said, the mortgage company's taking it. And I was like, what are you talking about?
Right.
And I was like, well, because I called them when I got the letter.
Right.
And I thought it was a scam.
Right.
So I was like, I don't believe that.
Yeah. We
And
didn't
then
either.
when we called up, they were like, I literally was like, are you sure about this? I asked the poor legal assistant or whatever her name was. She's like, I'm positive. I'm like, who did this? She's like, I don't know.
Right.
I don't get that information. All I know is this is what we were told to do. This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
So nobody paid that
No.
debt. Nobody I know called in and said, oh, I'm going to pay this for them.
Right. Right. Same.
It was the mortgage company that did
we
it.
have no idea. They have no idea.
Yeah.
It's gone.
But it can happen, guys. It happens.
It can happen. And we didn't ask for that either. That wasn't something we were praying and fasting about. It just happened. We got our monthly bill and it said payment to date. There was an extra $100,000 on there. And there was $100,000 missing from our principal balance.
Like what the what?
Yeah. So first I was like, okay, hold on. This has got to be a typo.
I got mine on a Friday and I had to wait the whole entire weekend.
Yeah.
To call on Monday
no
morning.
Explanation. So it's still there. Every month, every statement. It's still there.
I know. It's crazy.
Thank you, Lord.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So you get $100,000. Your husband gets like raise after raise after raise.
Yes.
And you're tithers. They're tithers.
Yes.
They're not givers. There's a difference. They're tithers. So
we did what the church told us to do because we had that instant we had relief. We had the love of the Lord.
But you always weren't in financial, it was financially difficult for you to pay your tithe.
Broke. We were totally
and
broke.
people are
we
probably
had no credit.
thinking, people are probably thinking, oh yeah, it's easy for you to pay tithe because you
First of
had
all,
the
we
money.
have horses. That means we have no money. People think
They're like
when
boats.
they see horses, they must. No, that means there's no money. That's what that means in the world. It means I have a very expensive thing that I feed. That's what it means. Mm-hmm. So Drew was getting bonuses and raises, and all of a sudden his credit was increasing. And 6 months into us being here, we thought it would take at least 2 years at my dad's. 6 months in, we're able to get approved for a house.
Okay, but the story about the house, I'm just telling you guys, if you do the radical things, you will see radical things happen in your life from him. I know it happens to me, but people always go, well, of course it happens to you because you're in ministry. It happened to me before I was in ministry.
Right.
Like, so it doesn't happen like that. People always think because of Jonathan and Pastor Rodney.
No.
Of course it happens for them because no, it doesn't. They do the radical to get the radical.
Yeah.
And the same thing happens if you do it, it'll happen for you. The formula is the formula.
Right.
The covenant is the covenant. The word is the word.
It can't change.
It cannot change.
Right.
Same yesterday,
Yes.
today, and forever. Take the necessary steps to see the monumental growth spiritually and the monumental blessings.
Yeah.
On top of
No
that.
more woe is me.
No more. You don't do it so you get the blessings. You do it because the word is the word.
Well, that's the thing.
I
We
did it
just
'cause of
fell
my
in
love.
with the Lord. Right. We fell in love with him and what he was doing in our lives. We knew how much he loved us. And so we were willing to do whatever.
If he says it, you do it.
We did it.
So the story about your house, though, is like nuts.
Yeah.
It's another one that you sit there and go, without God,
Just
not possible.
somebody else put a cash offer on our house.
Now show them this house. This house, it's exactly what you needed.
Yes.
It was your dream home.
It is, and it's literally designed for the amount of animals that we started with. There we are. So that's before we owned the property, that picture, actually.
Oh, wow.
We were walking and praying the property. That was before we signed the contract. My mom took that picture.
I love that.
Yeah. And there are details about this home that are so unbelievable for us. To the way the water is run, the electric, the knobs in the kitchen, my husband had already chosen for our future home. I mean, 3 stalls, 3 horses at the time. We've expanded. Things like that we just knew. And so we believed and we prayed, and somebody else put in a cash offer on the home. And we said, no, it's ours. We'll wait. And with that, our real estate agent,
And just so you know, cash is king, which we all know. And
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
rarely does a cash offer ever
Right.
dissolve.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
He needed a small amount of it financed, and for some reason, so this guy's got enough to make a cash offer on that property, and he needs a small amount offered, and he can't get it financed. 3 times it fell through. It took almost 60 days, and we countered with, again, our same offer. We have just enough credit. We have to have a special loan. We don't have anything. We don't have anything.
Yeah.
And it all goes through.
So that
get in
deal
the home.
dies.
That
And you
deal
kept
dies.
standing no matter how, because
did.
it looked good for a while. It looked really good.
Oh, it did.
And every single time you're like, nope, that house is mine.
The man was going to turn the property into a tiger farm. He had enough money he was going to gut the whole thing. He had licenses. He was from another country, and he was going to make it. We were laughing that we were up against the Tiger King. It was like a David and Goliath story. And here we are.
It's my house.
Right. So we just stood.
That's where life and death is held in the tongue. Speak what, if you believe, because you believed God told you that was your house.
We knew it.
Yes. And that's the difference. Don't just claim something that you want. Claim it because you know God's told you it's yours.
Absolutely.
There's the difference.
Yes.
Don't be name it and claim it. That's what gives the prosperity,
Right.
the healing message a bad name. We're not naming and claim it. We're like, if God says it's ours, then it's ours.
Right.
I
There's a
claim that.
difference.
There is a difference because people have given the prosperity message such a bad name. Again, why do you do what you do? So do you do what you do so your hand's always out so God's always giving you something?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you doing it because you're being obedient unto the Lord and what the Word of God says? And when you do what is, He always looks at the heart. He knows the motive.
It's true.
He knows what's going on there.
Right.
If your motives are pure, then He's just going to pour out on you.
Right.
He's not, he who is faithful with the little will be faithful with much.
Well,
If
right.
you are not going to be able to handle it, He's not going to give it to you because He's not going to set you up to fail.
Right.
And that's the other thing that people misunderstand. It's like I was listening to Jonathan a couple days ago, and he said that he knew that when the Lord allowed his ministry to get that first $1 million, he knew that was a test.
What are you going to do with it?
What are you going to do with it?
Right.
How are you going to spend this? And he, in that moment, he's like, Lord, I'm gonna rise to the occasion.
Right.
I'm gonna prove myself to
Yeah.
you. And in that, he gave over half of it away.
Right.
Not because he wanted to get more. That wasn't his purpose.
No.
His purpose was to fulfill the scripture that was, he who is faithful with a little be faithful with much. He was proving himself to the Lord.
Absolutely.
That's what we have to do.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we're like, what's next?
And if you don't feel like doing it, do it anyway. Because in the beginning, Drew was ready to give everything. And I was like, whoa. We just finally got a little bit of money. Hang on.
Yeah.
But we did it anyway. And it took a while before I got comfortable with it. It really did. That's just the honest truth.
Yeah.
But I did it anyway.
Yeah, because, sometimes it is a sacrifice.
And what he did for me, I owed him.
Yeah.
You know?
So here's the thing. Like, even this year, like the stuff that, like with Drew and his job, it's unbelievable.
It really is.
Like, you guys were needing a financial breakthrough. And like, out of the blue, he gets called in.
Yeah.
Tell the story, but you don't have to give the numbers, but or whatever you want to do. But this is just like, again, God.
Yeah, absolutely. So, our mortgage increased last year with the taxes going up.
Yep.
And that's just,
That's
is
life.
what it is. And God was still providing for us. Every single month he provided for us. And more than enough. Always. Always. And so, and if it wasn't, it would come in somehow.
Yep.
He did it for sure. So we get sick of this. We're like, you know what? I'm sick of this. So I wanted to sow a small seed into this Bible study.
Yeah.
And I said, I wanted to do it so bad, and I didn't have any extra after, but I had what I thought was $19. So I thought I had that in my bank account. So I send the $19. And then I look at my account, and it's actually, there's only like $10 in the account. So
I forgot about that
right.
part.
So I text Drew. I'm like, hey, can you send me $10 to the other account, because I just sowed a $19 seed and it's gonna like bounce or whatever. And he's like, there's barely anything left in that. And I'm like, and he's like, okay, fine. He sends it. So we send that. And so I write down on a piece of paper, Lord, turn this $19 into 19,000. There it is, September 17th.
Oh.
I have the note. This is why it's important to write things down.
Oh, yeah, it's super. She
because I'm
journals
going to prove
everything.
that the Lord is good.
Yeah.
If you don't believe me, I can prove it.
Yeah. I've journaled. I don't journal like I should, but I have journaled, and it's insane.
Yeah. It's beautiful to watch the growth that God does. So 6 days after that, my husband received a $20,000 raise.
Boom.
Boom. Breakthrough. And that put us into a position where it made things a lot easier for us,
Oh, yeah.
And he continues to, Drew just had a conversation with his bosses this week about something else coming in the beginning of the year, more growth for him, because Drew does everything unto the Lord without
Integrity and character, which sets him apart from pretty much everybody.
He does. And he loves God.
And he's witnessing, discipling on that job.
Yeah.
Like, he's living it out.
And when
which is
he
so,
messes up, you know what he does?
he owns it.
He owns it.
Yeah, he's told me stories. I love it.
The man owns it. I even struggle with that.
Trust me. That's I've had to.
Sorry.
That was me. Like, listen, that was me for so long. I've gotten so much better.
Yeah.
But sorry's not that easy.
It's
because
not.
especially when you're a prideful person.
Yes.
You're not that humble. I mean, I'm humble, but I'm like, being sorry humbles you to another degree.
Yeah.
And you can be humble in a lot of ways, but humble, like that's like,
It's true. That's a gift.
it's hard. Tom's
Yeah.
very much like that too. Like,
Yeah.
he's very humble, and he like,
It
sorry.
makes a difference.
Sorry is easy for him. I'm like, golly,
God
man.
can work with it.
Yeah. Well, David was a man after God's own heart. Why? Because he was broken and contrite.
Yeah.
And O to be broken and contrite.
Right.
That's what I want to be.
Yeah.
But a lot of times pride gets in the way of that.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's comes with destruction.
Right.
So remember, you want to be prideful, destruction's coming your way.
Yeah, and if you read the word, that pride will start to melt off because God will highlight it.
Big time.
He'll start pushing it.
Big time.
Yeah.
100%. So now God's got both of you. No, so good things are happening for Drew on his job, but we go back to, so you're not satisfied. You're saved. You're not satisfied. You're digging into the word and you want to see things
Miracles.
really like,
Yeah.
you not only want to win the loss, but you want to you want to win the loss, but you want to like heal and you want to prophetically speak into people's lives. And you've been seeing it.
I have.
Novices are like, she's a novice still because she's still learning.
Oh,
but
yeah.
that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be active in doing things. How do you become better at them?
Right.
By practice.
Yeah. You
All the time.
just do it.
Just do it.
Just pray.
So-
it started with me praying for people in the supermarket. I was already used to talking to people at the supermarket. They were usually yelling at me in New York. So
yeah. So what's the diff?
I was like, who cares? What are they going to say? They're not going to say anything worse than people have said to me in New York.
Yeah.
So I would just ask people. I would ask the cashier. I would ask the waitress at a restaurant. I would ask whoever would listen. And people would say no. People would say yes. And if they said yes, I would pray for them.
Oh, yeah.
And I
That's why I tell people, go to soul winning.
Yes.
If you go to soul winning,
Yeah.
if you're not like this personality, like no stranger, like me,
Right.
I'm
I
like
can talk
you.
to anybody.
Like me talking to somebody or praying, laying hands doesn't bother me. My heart rate doesn't go up.
Right.
But some people, it's so intimidating for
Yeah.
them. That's why soul winning is so important. Get out there, go
Right.
with a crowd
Practice.
or a group. You got to practice.
Right.
And they can teach you.
Right.
Like Eddie can teach you how to do
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
And he'll like hold your hand.
yeah, fake it till you make it.
So if you're
there.
sitting there going, I could never do that, you can.
You can.
You just
You're
got to
making an
learn.
excuse if you're thinking that. It's
You
an
just have
excuse.
to. Yeah, you just have to learn. And listen, if you go in numbers,
It's
oh my
easier.
gosh, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
If to be able to learn to be able to do it on your own.
Right.
So yeah, but okay, so you're out there winning the loss, and you're laying hands on the sick.
Yeah.
And so tell us some of the things that you've experienced and seen with that.
I made a list.
Perfect.
I brought a list, and so this is awesome. When I made this list yesterday, I could have cried because it just brings to remembrance all of the amazing things that God has done through me, which I don't ever even feel worthy. But I'm going to do what His Word says to do, and His Word says to speak the word in season, out of season, lay your hands on the sick, and be bold about it. And I'm going to do that.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes I don't even want to do that, but I do it anyway. And he needs people to work through.
Yeah. He needs vessels.
Right.
The harvest
We're
is
the
right.
hands and feet. So somebody's got to do it.
Yeah. Everybody can't be.
And
well,
if y'all can start helping me out, that would be
That-
great because I keep getting put in situations.
People can't be spectators. This is
No.
not a spectator sport.
No.
We're all in.
Yes.
Hands and feet of Jesus.
Yeah.
That's the problem. People feel like they can be a spectator. Like when we have service, you have the people who are active and
Right.
you have the watchers. We're not called to watch.
Yeah. I just want to serve
Participate.
him too.
Yeah.
I just want to spend every moment I can on this earth trying to do what he did for me. That's all.
Were you in there on Sunday?
Yeah.
Sorry, when Norma was saying, give me Jesus? Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. That song.
The
I was bawling like a baby.
room it was like, I felt like, I don't know, it's such a powerful.
That song is so powerful.
It is.
And the thing is in that song, I'm sitting there going, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Like for me, I don't
Right.
care about
I don't want
anything
anything
else.
else.
And
Absolutely.
most people should really like if you were singing that song and it meant nothing to you,
Mm-hmm.
you need to really like
Reevaluate.
big time.
Yeah.
And if you can say that during that song that, I mean, I kind of feel like that, then you need to reevaluate too. Because truthfully, like that song should be how you actually truthfully feel. And you walk and talk and do that daily.
Don't. Why?
And then you're not going to see anything.
Right.
You're not going to see the things. And maybe you don't want to see them. Then you need to reevaluate.
Right.
Like in some ways, are you really saved?
Right.
He has to be number one. He has
Without
to
a
be
doubt.
number one. He says, there'll be no one in front of him, and you'll have no other God before him.
Right.
I mean, he's number one. The only way to get to the Father is through him.
Yeah.
And if you don't even know him, or you really allow him to be a part of your life, but he has to fit into a certain parameters.
Oh, goodness.
Okay.
The limiting God
So
thing.
seriously,
Yeah.
you might need to examine your walk with God.
Right.
But that song is exactly like what you're talking about with this stuff right here.
Yeah. Yeah. Eye cyst dissolved instantly under my finger. That one actually scared me.
Okay, so say that one more time.
An eye cyst,
An eye cyst.
it dissolved under my finger while I commanded it to do so, which actually, like, I was like, ah, okay. It really, sometimes you're like, okay, that really did happen.
Yeah. And it happens.
Yes, it happens. Boy with COVID pneumonia on oxygen, removed from oxygen that day and discharged the next morning. He was administered into like a children's hospital. They were expecting him to stay. I think he was 8. Infant admitted to hospital with dehydration and fever, drinking and peeing and pooping immediately after prayer, discharged shortly after. They discharged her at 11:30 at night from a hospital.
Which doesn't hardly ever happen.
That? They'll keep her the next day. Insurance. No, sent her home. Bleeding during pregnancy stopped. That particular one had suffered miscarriage, and the fear comes in.
Oh, yes.
Done. Stopped. Kidney stone dissolved in hours. Lactose intolerant reversed. Food allergies reversed. I ran over my son's leg with my truck and trailer. That is a terrible story. He had tire marks on his leg.
Oh my
and
gosh,
a broken
girl.
boot, and the Lord turned his leg into like rubber, and he totally nothing. I know. My daughter broke her arm. She was healed in 12 hours. I promise we're good parents. We are. We are.
Oh, girl.
A horse
Have
was
Tommy
healed.
be your child.
Oh, goodness.
Okay.
A horse was healed of a chronic lymph condition. That's what it was, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Dog seizures stopped. An unresponsive 6-month-old baby. I rolled up on a car accident where a baby died, and they were doing CPR on her, and the mother was screaming, and I got out of the car, and she was screaming, my baby died, and I said, no, in the name of Jesus, your baby will live and not die. And then the cop was like, you got to get out of the way, blah, blah, blah. I got back in my car. My kids were like, what's going on? And we drove off. I got in touch with the grandmother of the baby. The baby lived. And then the body cam video came out in the county. Yeah, there's a video. You can see my car pull up at the end of the video, and the baby is dead, and then not dead. And that was God. I was there. That baby was hit by a motorcyclist. He flew through the window and hit her in her car seat. And she is alive. She is hitting every milestone.
Oh my gosh, praise the Lord.
Thank you, Lord. And I found her family.
How in the world did you do that?
Facebook. Facebook.
She stalked. You're Italian.
I don't care.
You're Italia. Italia can find anything.
Countless fevers. Bloody stool stopped. My pigs had swine pox.
People don't think you can pray for your animals.
Yes.
You can.
You can. We've seen it.
Oh, yes, we have.
An elbow dislocated, instantly healed, and a man on a plane that was withdrawing from alcohol. This man was one of my favorites. He was demonic, and I prayed for him, and he was overwhelmed with the love of the Lord on an airplane. Like, we're in close quarters. This can go bad.
Real fast.
Yeah. That's my mini list.
And there's more than that.
There is so much more. There's
There
so
is.
much more. Because it's my daily life. So,
I mean, even like she's working a job. She didn't want to work this job, and the Lord is making her work this job.
Yes.
And she's waiting to find out, Lord, exactly who and why.
Yeah.
But they don't like you there.
No.
But they don't understand why they like you.
right.
They don't
And
like her.
They openly say that. We don't know why we like you. And we love you, but we don't know why we love you. And
they didn't like you at the first. I mean,
no. At
some
first
of them,
they really said,
they don't
we
like
can't
you.
believe you came back. Because they live in the world. They don't care. And I am me with the Lord exactly the way I am at church, with you, at home, with them. Jesus. And that's it. They don't even know what to do with me half the time. But it's great.
And I know you
And there's
annoy
been-
them.
I do annoy them, yeah.
Yeah. Which is funny as all get out.
It is.
But the favor of the Lord, like he'll turn it around. Like he's turned them around.
He has shown them some things. I mean, every section in before season, only my section would have people in it. And people could sit anywhere in the rest. The Lord has shown them already that if you speak the word,
favor
you will
is yours.
receive.
I say all the time, and I pray this over my family pretty much every day. And I always say that everything we put our hands to will prosper.
Mm-hmm.
That's the word. Deuteronomy 28, guys. Like you need to be in Deuteronomy 28 all the times. It's the blessings. The first part's the blessings, and then it's the cursings if you don't do it.
Yep.
But the blessings, and we are found with favor wherever we go.
Yeah, speak that over yourself.
Every day, do it.
It's actually written on that chalkboard thing. I think you gave it to me on my deck.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that verse.
Deuteronomy 28? Mm-hmm. Can't go wrong, guys.
Right.
Now, the last thing, and you're making killer money working that job, and you hate it.
I do.
She's blessing people like she doesn't even hang on to it.
Super fun.
So tell them the
super
story.
fun.
She will not keep a dime of this money for herself.
Some of it I have recently. So a couple things I've done with it. I have
good.
recently, but Drew and I are giving a lot of it away. More than
all of it.
Yeah,
but
more than all of it.
Most of it, yes.
Yeah, really.
So she's like working this job that she hates, making killer money.
And I'm falling in love with these people too, because God loves them. The staff, I mean, they're starting to trust me and let me speak into their lives. And then they're like, they love it. And then it's great. It's great.
You never know, guys.
Yeah.
But be obedient, because again, she did not want this job. She cried over it.
I did cry. Yeah. I did kick and scream a little bit. I was like, why would you put me in this position? But you cannot limit God.
No.
And who else is he going to, who else can he use
It's the truth.
to put into that position and speak to them and give them the hard truth and tell them who Jesus is?
Plus, all those customers that come in.
Oh, yeah. There's so much. I get plenty of opportunities. I could tell you stories all day. People we've prayed for, a healing in a staff member, a headache gone. I mean, things that they need it.
People will say, well, headache, that's so small. If you're the one with the headache, it's not so small.
It's true. It's true.
So for me, I'm like, when I have headaches, I literally sometimes have to fight not to pop the Tylenol or whatever. But I'm like, no, because this is an opportunity. If I can stand in faith for my headache, that means I can lay hands on the sick.
Yeah.
As well as other things with myself. But those are testing grounds instead of popping the or getting a cold or whatever. Like, stop the cold before it gets bad.
Yeah.
Like this morning, I felt a really bad sore throat coming on. And I was like, not happening. I literally began to speak over that thing, and it was gone in like an hour. Like no sore throat, no stuffiness, no congestion, nothing. Gone in an hour.
And that's the thing. You can't settle for even, I'm not going to blink wrong.
No.
I'm the daughter of a king. Absolutely not. And people need to get in that mindset.
You will not only
it's not
see the...
cancer. Okay, but if you're all right with that, then... What are you
going to do? Because the word is very clear that you cannot wait until you do have cancer in order to build up your faith for that.
Right.
Okay. It's muscle memory.
Yeah.
You better have the muscle.
Right. Because when I see something that I've already seen done, I barely even have to.
Oh yeah. It's easy.
It is so
because you've seen it before.
I've seen it before.
And he'll do it again.
Absolutely.
It's all the time.
I don't care. There's no respecter of person. You're no different.
That's what I say all the time. Well, if they did it, I can do it.
Yeah.
I do that about George Mueller all the time. George Mueller saw some amazing things.
Yeah.
Healing wasn't his big thing, but like financially, the things that man got to experience off the charts.
Astronomical, yeah.
Astronomical.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's crazy. And I sit there and go, he's no different.
Right.
Like,
and
I'm not going to like settle for less.
You know, sewing if I can sew $250, sew $20, sew $25.
Oh yeah. It's
sew
100-fold return.
So $9. What? It doesn't matter.
If you say, I don't have it.
Watch what God does.
Because it's 100-fold return and your mind has to be right.
Right.
Okay, so it's 100-fold return. There's no risk.
Yeah, there is no risk. And it's fun to that money that I make at the restaurant. That's the most fun money to give away because some of those people are so wicked.
They probably can't even believe it.
They don't know yet. But I love the opportunities to tell them, you know what I do with this money? Do you know where this money is going?
Oh, yeah.
You know?
They probably just, their heads want to spin. Okay, but we're 7 minutes over, but you have to hear this funny farm story.
Josiah?
Yeah, do that one. This just recently happened.
This did happen the other day.
Yes.
Okay. So I have 2 roosters. I had 2 roosters. Chicken Joe, who has the most amount of the ladies, the hens, if you know how roosters work.
Yes, there's a pecking order.
There is. And so if you have enough chickens, you can have more than one rooster. You have to have enough chickens and enough space. So I do. So,
oh, yeah, it's huge.
So Chicken Joe, and one of his wives had a baby last year. They had a couple babies. We decided to keep one of the extra roosters. He was so beautiful. I named him Josiah in hopes that he would be a good king. And he was. He was a good little man. So a couple days ago, last week, one of my chickens, I found her near death. And I couldn't believe it. She was all beaten up. Somebody had beat her up. I said, oh, no, maybe she was sick. Because chickens, if one chicken is sick, they'll take her out. Like, you can't stay. You're a problem. So I thought maybe that was the case. She didn't make it. I put her separately. I tried to get her better, prayed over her, everything. She dies. So I'm like, okay, that shouldn't happen, but something was up. So then me and Ruby are out in the barn, like a day later, 2 days later, and we hear commotion, big commotion, which is basically every day. But
you have a farm.
Right. The roosters are fighting. Chicken Joe is trying to fight for his life. Josiah, his son, is attacking him and winning, and he is brutalizing his father, and it's just absolute chaos. So we go in there. I fight off Josiah. I'm like, get off of him. Pick up Chicken Joe. He's bleeding and he's all messed up. And he's older. He's an older rooster. So he's
having a hard time fending them for himself.
Right. So I separate him. I'm like, Josiah's out. He's evil. He's trying to take over the kingdom. He obviously killed that other chicken because his dad wouldn't let him have everything. His dad was the head honcho and he was jealous. It all comes down to that. Jealousy.
Bible.
Yeah.
She's got a Bible.
Look at this. Here's the Bible unfolding.
Yeah.
The Old Testament in my chicken coop.
Yeah.
So,
Kings.
right.
The book of Kings.
Kings. Okay. So I'm going to sell Josiah at the auction. So I separate him. I don't have time for it, but I'm going to do it. I have to catch him again. And Chicken Joe is okay. He survives, right? I catch Josiah and he's wrestling me. He's fighting me to get in this Tupperware box that I already set up. I drilled holes in it. I put Ziplocs. I'm ready to transfer him to the auction. There's a small auction in Arcadia where I could at least get $20 for him. He's beautiful. Reminds me, I got to call her and find out how much he sold for. Anyway, as I'm wrestling him, I accidentally snap his neck. I feel it in my hands. He dies in my hands. I'm like, oh no, I killed him. I killed Josiah. I feel so bad. And Ruby, she's like, good, he deserved it. He was terrible. Oh my goodness. So I throw him in the box. I leave the top off because he's dead. I take Chicken Joe back into his wives. Here's your kingdom back. Okay. And I go back and this Kung Fu chicken is alive and well and out and ready to come after me.
Did you pray over him? I think you told me you prayed over him.
So when I was holding him, I did feel a lot of compassion. I didn't pray, but Jesus healed with compassion. And I did feel very badly. So if I either accidentally resurrected him, which is a possibility because you just don't know. Things can happen like that. You cannot limit God. I've seen some things. Or he faked his death in order to kill me. Let's be real. He could have done that. So he did try to come after me again. I won. I took him to the auction and sold him, and that was the end of it. But this is all before 9 a.m. in the morning.
Oh my gosh. So what time do you normally get up on the farm?
It depends. Right now, I'm a little bit later because the sun isn't up as early, so I don't want to be out there in the dark. So right now, it's between 6:30 and 7. But
that's really different because normally
it's like 5. So, and also it depends on what I'm doing with God. There are big, giant gaps with the Lord where I need to be up very early, you know, not very early, but I need a lot of time with him prior to the farm. Because the thing is when the kitchen light is on, Sven, the donkey, can see that I'm awake and he'll start calling me
To come out.
And if I don't come out fast enough, he starts messing with a lot of stuff. He's going to take all the halters off. He's going to mess with the gate. So it really depends.
I love that donkey.
I do too. I know.
Watch
Drew doesn't
her
really
stuff.
feel the same.
No, well. Do you blame him? Look at her stuff. Watch it. But more importantly, if you go to Foundation Church, she's our 911. We always we tease. Like there's plenty of people. Our church is amazing as far as people that you can go to and count on that they're gonna stand with you. Everybody wants to have Tom lay hands on them, and that's great and all. We have a phenomenal Sue has a phenomenal prayer team.
Oh my goodness, yes.
That they agree with us.
Right.
They believe just like we do. Otherwise, they wouldn't be laying hands on people and praying. Tracy does it in the youth group with Jer all the time. You're in our kids ministry. You're teaching them along with Courtney.
Yeah.
Because she's a teacher. Her and Courtney are constantly praying over people, teaching them the strong foundational, I wouldn't say basics, but it's the foundation of the word so that they can build from that. Because Tracy's, we do have kids that are speaking in tongues and kids rock.
Yeah.
When we get by the time they get to Tracy and Jer, we want them so solid that they're winning their friends at the high schools.
Yes.
And because the education system by the time you hit high school is not like elementary school.
Right.
True.
Plus they do the junior high. So where the junior high is that's a hot mess.
Oh my goodness.
Everything's it's all about your social life.
Right.
All about your
Yuck.
friends. Yeah. Which it shouldn't be like that.
Right.
So if we can get them good and kids rock and there's
Focus on the
just
Lord.
so many people. If you ever have a problem or you need prayer, there are plenty of people who will lay hands on you, stand with you in agreement. Two or more agree in His name. He is there also, and you can believe for whatever you're standing in. We see it all the time.
We do. All the time.
See it all the time, and it's powerful. It's powerful to have a
And
testimony.
you're missing out.
You need to be doing it. I would say not everybody is allowed to lay hands in our church.
Right.
You have to be in leadership.
Sure.
But work it to the place where you can.
Yeah.
So that's where soul winning comes in.
Absolutely.
Because they soul winning, they're going out into the streets and they're winning the lost. They're praying and healing,
Right.
but also they're going into those rehabilitation facilities.
I love that. I love that.
And they're seeing some great things in there.
Yes, they are.
Got to practice. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, Tara.
I love
Oh
you.
my gosh, I love her. She was scared to death to come on here.
Was.
It's easy peasy.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. Everybody always says it. After it's done, they're like, oh, that wasn't that bad.
Right. It's not that bad.
It's not.
Yeah.
You'll be back. But great with more testimonies.
Yes.
Um,
For sure.
but when you see her at church, and if you don't come to this church, follow her on Instagram.
Yeah.
You will not be disappointed. Trust me. I know this. Thank you so much for joining us. Friday's it for the next couple of weeks. And then January's our 2nd year anniversary. Listen,
Wow, that
we're
went
not
fast.
doing that again. We're not doing the balloons. We're not doing anything special. That was a big flop and failure. We're just going to say hip hip hooray.
Yeah.
Right, Trace?
Sure.
Oh,
What you doing now?
my gosh. So Friday's it. Come back. See us on Friday and just before Christmas.
Yay.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Bye.
Real talk.